That looks good. What's that?
It's wine unknown. Welcome to Wine Unknown. I'm your host. My name is Bryant Fennell, also known as Bright Guy, and I'm a wine specialist. What does that even mean? Well, it means that I know a lot of information about wine, and I want to share that along with my passion with you guys. So no matter where you're at in your journey, no matter if it's the beginning, the middle, well, let's face it, there's no such thing as the end. This is the show for you.
Guess who's back? I'm back. My voice is back. We're here to talk about wine. So we finished up with the white wine series from the noble grapes. Now let's move on to the red wines. I'm excited. Just for the sheer fact, this is my favorite grape varietal because, oh my goodness. When you speak of this, you speak of nothing but the finest of the fine. I don't know what that was, but I'm talking about Pinot Noir. The history on it is rich. It's one of the OGs that has a long story. The flavor profiles on it are
Pinot Noir.
It's just one of those wines for the richest. Is it rags to riches? I don't know, but we're going to learn a little bit about it right now. Man, Pinot Noir is just one of the wines you're going to fall in love with. You shouldn't even fight it. I tried to fight it. I couldn't fight it. And you just got to accept what it is. It's adored all over the world. It's a noble grape for a reason. And not only because it can grow anywhere, because that's not the thing. Because growing it is one thing. Trying to turn it into wine is a whole nother task. And it's a pain in the behind, I will tell you. Because the grapes themselves are these thin-skinned red grapes. It's kind of like if you touch it, it splits. And then it's no good then, right? If they're splitting it onto the touch. So you have to be so delicate with these grape varietals or this grape varietal that it takes a lot of care. So quality is really important with that. And that comes with that price tag. And it's just a whole, it's a slippery slope. I'll say it. Pinot Noir is a slippery slope. If you like Pinot Noir, just expect to pull out your debit card, credit card, whatever, because it's taking you to the bank for Pinot Noir. Definitely good Pinot Noir. And when I'm trying, all right, what am I talking about, right? All right. Let's go to the origin. The origin in Burgundy. If you're looking for a Burgundy, Bourgogne, or an appellation, because I can't even just say any old appellation, but an appellation in Burgundy for Pinot Noir. Oh my goodness, you're looking to spend a couple $100 for a good one. If you're in America, you're still spending about $40 for a Pinot Noir, but it's not going to taste like the one in Burgundy. I can tell you that. Oh my goodness. What am I saying? What am I doing to you guys? Am I trying to discourage? No, this is supposed to be fun. This is my favorite grape varietal, but I'm putting a lot of pressure on it. Because it's so good. Once you are not afraid to open up your wallet a little bit, you are going to experience a whole different world of wine that will blow your mind. And I'm not trying to sell you on this grape varietal at all. It's just what it is. It's crazy. It blows my mind. Okay, let me reel it back. Gotta do that, right? Gotta do that. I think that's going to be my thing. I should get a cue button to sit there and just have that happen. Okay, so Burgundy is France is the birthplace of the Pinot Noir. grape varietal. So they had the most time to spend with it and understand what it likes and what it doesn't like and how to get the best results of it. And in the region of Burgundy is where you're going to find the best Pinot Noir that you can get, depending on your palate, right? If you're looking for something a little bit more fruit forward, that's a little bit different, right? But from Burgundy, what you're going to get are these like flavors that I want to say like so complex, because you're getting like dried cranberries. You can get like leather. You can get like roses, barnyard. You can get a lot of a range, a whole scope of what the land tastes like from these. And then they last. It's hard. They last. And you're just sitting there like, whoa, what just happened? And the reason why everything is still just, it's not as fresh if you're depending on the vintage. If you're speaking from like an old vintage, you're just going to get nothing but like dried stuff. If you're speaking from a more recent vintage, it's going to be really fresh and ripe. And that's because the acidity within the grape is high. Like Pinot Noir has high acidity. Just think like a Sauvignon Blanc, how that attacks your tongue, how it makes your mouth water. It's like that, but it's the red version of that. Except it doesn't have all the greenness, like the herbs and everything. This is more so just like you're going to get like mushrooms if you're have an old vintage or old year bottle from it. If it's fresh, you're getting that ripe, fresh cranberry. You're getting that fresh, ripe raspberry. You're getting things like, you're getting more so like fruit forward notes like that in the younger years of it. But Burgundy is also weird in the sense of how Napoleon split everything between the children. And that's something we'll get into in the history when we dive into like regions and areas. But there's a whole historical aspect of this. But just imagine like one row of like vineyard. And that makes it kind of hard. To sit there and have a sustainable business. Cause it's like, if I have one row of vines, how much wine can I actually produce from that? Which is what makes these grape varietals, as far as like Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, so much more prominent in this area. I had a wine from Côte d'Or. And I mean, it was a Pinot Noir, right? And it was fantastic. So the whole thing about the Côte d'Or is like they're on these like high slopes and the sun is just like facing them. So they're roasting all day, not night, but they're roasting all day until the sun sets. It's beautiful. It's crazy. It works. I understand it. And because the drainage in them, like these vines are like just struggling, but that always produces great wines, right? I can't remember the producer. I'm so sorry. I can't remember the producer, but like it definitely varies from slope to slope. I can tell you that for a fact. So when I tasted it, I got nothing but like what you would imagine, right? Like a fruit sitting out in the sun all day. You're going to get dried. You're going to get dried everything. You know, it's going to age a little bit differently. So I'm getting like mushroom. I'm getting like dried herbs. I'm getting like dried cranberry. it's in its whole it matures a whole lot faster than something that wasn't sitting out in the sun all day. Does that mean that it got a lot of melon? It got too much melanin in it. It's like it was just sunbathing all day, and it's great. It's great for that because it didn't raisin, like it was perfect. It was perfect. So I'll just leave that there. These wines do, of course, cost a lot of money. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Like the lowest you can sit there and find a Cote d'Or, a good one, would be at least probably like $40, right? Whereas like, all right, so that's a decent one. That's still young, vibrant, whatever, like you can get that and you can just store that away. Like that's one to just keep in your cellar if you're a collector. If you're trying to drink right then and there, that's it's going to be good, but it's not going to be at its best, you know? And that's the best way I can explain that. Which brings me to Oregon, like here in the New World, like the Pinot Noirs from the Willamette Valley are fantastic. You can drink them so young and youthful that you're going to get that fruity, like burst that you're looking for. They're so lush, so great. Like, oh my gosh. And my introduction to the Willamette Valley was with Robert Jones, who's a master sommelier for the CMS, Court of Master Sommeliers. And I was working at Panorama at that time. And it was this event that they called me in for randomly. Like I was not the guy that I'm pretty sure that they wanted there, but that they knew they can call. And it just so happened that like the night before I got super high with a friend. So me going into this was just not the thing. Like in my professional setting, it was not the thing I should have done, but I did it. I was like, you know what? I'm going in. Like they called me, I'm going in. Like, why not? And like upon meeting him, he already knew. I'm pretty sure everybody probably knew, but he knew. And we bonded off of that. He was just messing with me the entire time, like so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool, like man, how do I explain it? Because it's such an embarrassing story that it's like, all right, man, like you court me off, you court me at not my finest moment, and this was the second master sommelier that I met in life. The first one was Doug Frost. Holla at you, that's my guy. Boop boop. But yeah, Robert Jones was the second one. And he looked and he laughed and he was like, yeah, we need somebody like you in the CMS. we need somebody like you because you're just mad cool. You're just mad great. It's like, yo, you're amazing. We need you. But that's because like, the wine world is super stuffy and I'm not, like, and that's hopefully why you're listening to this. But yeah, so like we were talking and he was just like, what's your favorite type of wine? And I said, Pinot Noir. And at that time, I did invest in Willamette Winery Vineyards, WVV. And yeah, I was just there. I still do believe in them now. They're like a lot. The production has grown so much, so I think that it's a good investment. I probably shouldn't say that because of the conflict of interest, but whatever. Like they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do. And he was like, "Whoa, you must have you have a great palate. You have luxurious taste." Like, and then he actually broke down, and then that's like honestly, that was the first time I understood what it took to be a master sommelier. on the breakdown, on the explanation of it. It was so fluid. Like it was great. And that's something that I'm still trying to perfect as of the day. Like it was so precise on how he explained not only just the grape varietal, but also tied it into the winery he was representing at that time. I was like, oh, this is why. This is why you're here. This is why you're here doing this, and this is why they paid you to do this. I get it. I understand. I got to get better. I want to get to that level. I want to get to that level. And not only just to speak to my audience, but to speak to anybody and be able to articulate it in the way that you have. And I do feel like I'm getting there. And times have changed so much. There's so many more laws and grape varietals and things that's moving around that kind of shakes things up on my end. But shout out to you, Rob. Man, that was awesome. You're awesome. And yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much Oregon in itself. Is like you're just going to get these fruit forward wines. They're still going to be dry, but you're going to get a lot more ripe fruit. Like it's going to taste exactly or close to when you're biting into like any of those berries. It's going to be more of that as opposed to the Burgundy style, which is going to be more dried. So keep that in mind. And now I'm going to change all the way gears and go to somewhere that you wouldn't even think that produces Pinot Noir, but that's New Zealand. Like I cover New Zealand a lot. New Zealand has a lot going on, even though it doesn't really have a lot going on because it's like where they can produce wine is just so small. But what they're doing, what they're picking is just like, wow. So New Zealand wines or New Zealand Pinot Noirs is not going to taste anything like anything from America or France. It has this whole herbaceousness, kind of just similar towards like as you would say, like the Sauvignon Blanc. That's kind of what it's known for, it still has the acidity there. It's not so fruit forward, but they're there, but they play a backseat towards herbaceousness. Like when I'm saying herbaceousness, I'm thinking more so, or I'm saying like more so just like roses, flowers, greens, like, or vegetables, however you want to say that. I'm digging more in that side of it. Like, because in France, you have like the mushrooms, you have the dried fruit. In America, you have the ripe, fresh fruit. And then here is kind of like, I don't want to say that in between, but it's like that distant cousin. And it's fantastic. If you're an aficionado, like you have to have dabbled in it. You have to have grown up and matured. Like me, I have a bitter palate, so I tend to like more of this kind of stuff. So when I'm doing like food pairings with Pinot Noir, I understand how versatile it is. So first thing I'm going for is just like smoked salmon, because oh my gosh, like you don't think fish with red wines go, but this will change your mind. It's fantastic. The smokiness plus with the texture and the fruits of the Pinot Noir, just so fantastic. Just adds a whole nother dimension to it. But not only that, of course, you have to go with your charcuterie board. Like, you need your dried meats, you need the cheeses. Make sure that you do have, like, at least one goat cheese or a triple cream. One of those really creamy, oozy cheese is just going off of the plate. As well, of course, like berries. Oh, man, and some honey. Oh, it's just amazing. And for something from like New Zealand, like don't get it messed up. You can sit there and you can do anything. Like the first thing that comes to mind for me is something like ham or turkey, just for the sheer fact that this wine has low tannins. So this is going to work with any of those. So you kind of want to bring this to Thanksgiving. Like you can do this at any other time, but to throw people off and mess up everything, you just didn't bring a bottle of Pinot Noir, a good Pinot Noir. Boom, put it on the table and then let it do its thing. Oh my gosh, how many people are going to fall in love with it? Definitely if they love red wine, I highly recommend you try those pairings. That's it. So hopefully you like this episode of Wine Unknown. Next week, we'll dive into Zinfandel. Is it a rosé? Is it red? Like, what is it? I'm here to tell you that it's actually both. But what it's mostly known for is rosé. But we'll get into the story of that. Just make sure you like, subscribe, tell your friends about it, all that other stuff that people ask you for, and follow me, Yo Bright Guy. All right? Cheers. Hope to see you again. Bye.